Yes, good to see you all again. I hope you all have understood gene mapping properly. We have given it in tremendous detail in the notes. I hope you saw the lectures and you have understood numericals from gene mapping properly, all of you all. In the NTA papers, they have asked many questions from gene mapping. So please go through that properly. And today I have sent you all the PDF file. Please follow all the instructions that I have given on the first page. Please follow those religiously, all of you. And please do not miss the Zoom session that we are conducting this Sunday. We will give you a proper know-how of how to study PCB in the last 15 days. Even for the best of the best students, please don't go by your own protocol. At least listen to what we have to say after so many years of experience, talking to so many of your seniors. We have created the perfect protocol for all of you. Please don't miss the Zoom session. And please tell your parents to just attend the Zoom session on Sunday at around 7 o'clock for 15 to 20 minutes. I'm going to be calling certain doctors who are going to give you all instructions on how to prevent corona infection, because you are going to be in a crowded area. Your parents are going to be in a crowded area when you go for your NEET exam, because centers are going to be packed. So they will give you certain instructions. Please listen to them. They are doctors. They will guide you thoroughly well. Check. So now we go into a very nice logic called as gene interaction. Now, as you have read in your PDF file, you are supposed to only remember the summary. I have nicely given you the summary of all the gene interactions. सारी summary को memorize कर देना one day before the NEET exam. It will take you 15-20 minutes, maximum half an hour, and you can solve all the numericals or all the questions based on gene interaction. And what I have given in detail, I would want you all to read it up before you see the AV lecture today. If you have not read the PDF file, please don't see this YouTube video. Pehle read up what I told you. Epistatis, dominant, recessive, and dominant recessive epistatis. Usko पढ़ लो. Then come back to the YouTube video and you see the YouTube video. If you have read already, let's start. What is the meaning of epistatis? Epistatis is the phenomenon of masking or suppressing the expression of a gene by another non-allelic gene. ध्यान से, suppressing a gene by a non-allelic gene. So suppose you have two homologous chromosomes. On one chromosome you have capital A, on the homologous chromosome small a. On another set of chromosomes you have capital B, and on the homologous chromosome small b. Of course we know capital A is dominant over small a and capital B is dominant over small b. That is called as Mendel's law of dominance. But in epistatis, capital A is not only dominant over small a, capital A is dominant over capital B. Capital A and small a are alleles, but capital A and capital B are not alleles. They are found on separate chromosomes. So, capital A dominant over small a allele is called as law of dominance, but capital will become epistasis, because capital B is not an allele of capital A. It is found on a separate homologous chromosome pair. So, what is capital A being dominant over capital B on another chromosome, which is a non-homologous chromosome, which is a non-allele called as epistatis. So, capital A is dominant over allele, small a, law of dominance. Capital A is dominant over capital B, non-allele, which is called as epistatis. And the gene which suppresses the non-allelic gene is called as epistatic gene. Capital A suppresses capital B and is called as epistatic gene. And the gene which gets suppressed, by the non-allelic gene is known as hypostatic gene. So gene capital B which gets suppressed by capital A is called as the hypostatic gene. So gene which suppresses is called as epistatic gene, and gene which gets suppressed is called as hypostatic gene. Get definitions yaad rakhna. And epistasis is of three types, namely dominant epistasis, recessive epistasis, and dominant recessive epistasis. ये नीट एग्जाम में सबसे क्रूशियल जीन इंटरैक्शंस है. आज के पहले जितने भी नीट पेपर्स हुए हैं उसके अंदर दे हैव आस्क्ड क्वेश्चंस ऑफ डोमिनेंट एपिस्टासिस, रिसेसिव एपिस्टासिस एंड डोमिनेंट रिसेसिव एपिस्टासिस. तो आज का लेक्चर ऑन एपिस्टासिस इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट. फ्राइडे वाला जो लेक्चर है वो इतना इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, लेकिन आज का लेक्चर ये तीन इंटरैक्शन प्लीज रिमेंबर: डोमिनेंट एपिस्टासिस, रिसेसिव एपिस्टासिस एंड डोमिनेंट रिसेसिव एपिस्टासिस. चलिए लेट्स डू दीस थ्री टुडे व्हिच आर मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट. डोमिनेंट एपिस्टासिस, द डोमिनेंट जीन एट वन लोकस suppresses the expression of another gene at a different locus, non-allelic gene, regardless of whether it is dominant or whether it is recessive. So, check this again. A dominant gene, capital W, for white color, and capital W for white color suppresses another gene, capital Y, for yellow color, and that is a non-allelic gene. These are non-allelic, found on different chromosomes, and the dominant gene, capital W, suppresses another gene which is a different locus, non-allelic gene. So it will suppress capital W capital W will suppress capital Y, which is for yellow color, and the non-allelic gene could be dominant or could be recessive. So इस example में capital Y is yellow and small y is green. So, capital W will become epistatic over capital Y non-allelic gene, which is for yellow color, or non-allelic gene small y, which is for green color. And what do capital Y and small y become? Hypostatic gene. So, what is this kind of interaction called as dominant epistasis? and the F2 phenotypic ratio is 12:3:1. Please memorize it straight away. What is dominant epistasis F2 phenotypic ratio? 12:3:1. चलिए, now we understand it with an example. और ये example याद रखना, fruit color in cucurbita pepo, summer squash. Fruit color in cucurbita pepo, summer squash is an example of dominant epistasis. Please remember three things: dominant epistasis, fruit color in cucurbita pepo or summer squash is the example, and what is the F2 ratio that we just did? 12:3:1. इतना याद रहना चाहिए. Dominant epistasis is found in fruit color in cucurbita pepo summer squash, and the F2 ratio is 12:3:1. इतना याद रखना. And yes, now we understand it. ये आपको कोई पूछेगा नहीं, but let's understand it. हमको जो याद रखना है, I have told you. Now just understand it. In summer squash or cucurbita pepo, there are three types of fruit color: yellow, green and white. तो cucurbita pepo या summer squash में the fruit color is yellow, green, white. Capital W is for white, capital Y is for yellow, small y is for green. White color is dominant over the other two, yellow and green. White color, capital W, is dominant over capital Y also, and dominant over capital small y also, which is called as dominant epistasis. So, what is capital W? Epistatic G. What is capital Y which gets suppressed by capital W? Hypostatic G. What is small y for green color which is also suppressed by capital W? Called as hypostatic G. And yellow color is dominant over green. Capital Y is dominant over small y. Capital Y is dominant over small y. That is natural, law of dominance. So, yellow color is dominant over green. That is law of dominance. So, capital W is dominant over capital Y. Epistasis, dominant epistasis. Capital W is dominant over small y. Green. White is dominant over green. Capital W is dominant over small y. Epistasis. And capital Y for yellow color and small y for green color are hypostasis. And yellow is dominant over green. Yellow color is formed only when the dominant epistatic gene for white is represented by recessive allele small w. ये word जरूर याद रखना. When will yellow color be formed? When dominant epistatic gene for white, which is the epistatic gene white के लिए capital W, and when that gene is represented by its recessive allele small w. तो यहाँ जब small w and small w होगा, जब small w होगा, then the epistatic capital W नहीं है and small w recessive genes है, then capital Y will express itself to produce the yellow color. I hope you've understood that. And when the hypostatic gene for yellow is also recessive, when the hypostatic gene for yellow is also recessive. Yellow suppresses green. So when the hypostatic yellow is also recessive, so instead of capital Y, it is small y. Small y. And then the color of the fruit is green. So small y and small y. And the yellow color won't be formed because there is no capital Y and no capital W. So small w and capital W becomes epistatic over small y. But small w does not become epistatic over small y. So now small w, small y, what color it will form? Green. I hope you understood this also. So now that we have understood this, if you have not understood, pause and rewind and see it again and then continue forward. What will be white fruits? White fruits कौन से होंगे? Capital W आया नहीं कि it will become epistatic and एक भी capital W होगा epistatic and any combination one capital W becomes epistatic and capital Y becomes hypostatic. So any genotype with even one capital W, एक भी capital W होगा, it will become epistatic. So white में कौन से genotypes possible है? Capital W, capital Y, capital Y, capital W, small w, capital Y, or in which capital W is becoming epistatic over capital Y, capital W is becoming epistatic over capital Y, capital W, small w, capital Y, in which capital W is becoming epistatic over capital Y, capital W, small y, इसमें तो y दोनों small ही है, but capital W becomes epistatic over small y, green color. So capital W, white will become epistatic over small y, green color, and that will be white. तो एक भी capital W होगा white. Yellow कब बनेगा? येलो कब बनेगा? अभी मैंने बताया येलो कब बनेगा? When you have capital Y but W's are small and no capital W. तो small w. तो epistatic gene is absent. Then Y will express to produce the yellow color. एपिस्टैटिक जीन नहीं होना चाहिए, कैपिटल W एपिस्टैटिक जीन नहीं है, तो कैपिटल Y will express to form the yellow color. तो which are the genotypes for yellow color? Small w, capital Y, and small w, capital Y, small y. What will capital Y produce? Yellow color. But importantly, all are small w. So small w, what will small w become? No epistatic gene, and capital Y will produce yellow color. I hope you understood that. एक भी capital W रहेगा, it will become epistatic over capital Y, and एक भी capital W रहेगा, what will be the color? White. And अगर capital Y है या capital Y small y है, capital Y produces yellow color, but only when small w, which means the epistatic genes of white color are absent. Only then, no epistasis of capital W. Then capital Y will produce yellow color. And green color कब बनेगा? Green कब बनेगा? When it is small w, small y. So, no capital W to become epistatic over small y and no capital Y to become dominant or epistatic over small y, and small w तो epistasis नहीं होगा, small y तो capital Y का dominance over small y नहीं रहेगा, and small y and small w all of them are small. What is the color produced? Green. If you understood, continue. Otherwise, rewind and see it again. And please keep your books open to keep on reading along with it. नहीं है तो pause करके book open PDF file open रखो on a mobile. A cross between a pure breeding white summer squash, capital W, capital Y. White summer squash. White summer squash is capital W, capital Y. Capital W becomes epistatic over capital Y. And what is the color produced? White. When it is crossed with a pure breeding green summer squash. Green कौन सा है? Small w, small y. It will produce white fruits in the F1 generation. White fruits in the F1 generation on inbreeding. When F1 generation is self-breeding, it produces F2 generation in which there are 12 white fruits, 3 yellow fruits and 1 green fruit, which I told you, if you remember, is the F2 generation phenotypic ratio for dominant epistasis. 12 is to 3 is to 1. 12 white fruits, 3 yellow fruits and 1 green fruit. चलो अब इसको समझते हैं. Capital W, capital Y, white, small w, small y, green. What will be the gamete produced out of it? Capital W, capital Y, and small w, small y. एक ही टाइप का gamete बनेगा, क्योंकि ये तो homozygous तो एक ही gamete बनेगा. What will they fuse to become? Capital W, small w. Capital Y, small y, in which capital W will become epistatic over capital Y. And what will capital W एक भी रहेगा तो become white. So what is that called as? Hybrid white. What is that called as? Hybrid white. तो ये hybrid white बन जाएगा. And when two hybrid whites mate with each other, inbreeding to produce F2 generation, then what will be the gamete produced? This is like Mendel's dihybrid cross. तो वो तो आता ही आपको. Capital W, small w, capital Y, small y, like Mendel's dihybrid cross. वो एक बार पढ़ लेना. I'm sure you have read it many times. Mendel's dihybrid cross. What will it form? Capital W, capital Y, capital W, small y, capital Y, and small w, small y. तो ये पे gamete बनेंगे. And capital W, capital Y, capital W, small y, small w, capital Y, small w, small y. ये female gametes बनेंगे. Pollen grains, eggs. and when they will fuse, exactly like Mendel's dihybrid Punnett square, exactly like same. Genotypes are same, genotype. Phenotypes of course will be different. So what will be the genotype? Check this. Capital W, capital W, capital Y, capital Y, capital W, capital W, capital Y, small y, capital W, small w, capital Y, small capital Y, capital W, small w, capital Y, small y, and similarly here, and similarly here, and similarly here. ये मैं डिटेल में नहीं जा रहा हूँ, the waste of time. Please read that PDF file. Now let's see, depending on genotype, what phenotypes we got. Please listen to this. Here, capital W becomes epistatic over capital Y. So what will it become? White. Capital W epistatic over capital Y. 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 White. Capital W epistatic over small y for green. But small y green नहीं बनेगा. Capital W becomes epistatic not only over capital Y for yellow, but also over small y for green. So that will still form white. Capital W becomes epistatic over capital Y for white. Capital W becomes epistatic for small y green. Again becomes white. एक भी capital W रहेगा white. And capital W becomes epistatic over capital Y. Capital W becomes epistatic over capital Y white. And capital W becomes epistatic over capital Y white. Capital W becomes epistatic over small y for green, again becomes white. So, how many whites are formed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So, how many whites you got? 12 white fruits. Now, 12 white fruits. Check this. Small w, capital Y. अरे वाह. Small w, capital Y. The small w, which means the epistatic gene, capital W, is absent, and capital Y will produce yellow color. So, small w, epistatic capital W absent hai. So, what will small y produce? Yellow color. So, this will become yellow. And small w, capital Y, small y, again capital Y will become dominant over small y, yellow. And small w, capital Y, small y, again capital Y becomes dominant over small y, yellow. So, small w, small w. So, what will these three become? Yellow. So, we have 1, 2, and 3 yellow fruits. And one plant we get small w, small y. Exactly like Mendel's diagram. And what will small w, small y become? No capital W, so no epistasis. And small w, no capital W, no epistasis. And small y. Small y means capital Y is not there to become dominant over small y. And capital Y is not there to become dominant over small y. So yellow नहीं बनेगा. What will small y produce? Small w produces green. And one plant will become green, and that is called green fruit. And what is that F2 ratio? 12 white fruits, 3 yellow fruits, 1 green fruit. Chalo, sure you all have understood this well. Please refer to your notes and see the video if you haven't understood. And what you have to remember for the NEET exam. बाकी तो हमने समझ लिया, याद आपको इतना ही रखना है और उसको अंडरलाइन कर देना that inheritance of fruit color in Cucurbita pepo, inheritance of fruit color in Cucurbita pepo is due to dominant epistasis. Inheritance of fruit color in Cucurbita pepo is due to dominant epistasis, where the F2 generation phenotypic ratio is 12:3:1, where you have 12 white fruits, 3 yellow fruits, and 1 green fruit. So, inheritance of fruit color in Cucurbita pepo is dominant epistasis, 12 white fruits, 3 yellow fruits, 1 green fruit. ये याद रखना, बाकी आपको पेडिग्री चार्ट कोई पूछने वाला नहीं है, सॉरी फनेट स्क्वायर कोई पूछने वाला नहीं है, सिर्फ ये बराबर से याद रखना, inheritance of fruit color in Cucurbita pepo is due to dominant epistasis, and in which you have F2 phenotypic ratio 12:3:1, 12 white fruits, 3 yellow fruits, 1 green fruit. Yes, we will take a small break and we will come back to the next epistasis called as recessive epistasis. If you have understood this, good. If not, please read the PDF file and go through the video again before you see recessive epistasis. Take care.